Hey everybody, Peach here, and today we're going to be building a DIY push-pull sled. Alright, before we get started, let me explain why I'm making this video. Now, I already have a metal push-pull sled. This is the Vevor push-pull sled. Yes, they did send it to me for free, but that's not influencing my opinion that it's a fine sled, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. However, I have no use for it, and I'll tell you why. If I had a large AstroTurf area, I'd be using this thing. But I don't, so really I have two options. Use it in my yard, which will tear up the lawn, not just this one, but any metal sled, any sled really, will tear up your lawn. Two, well, I could use it on my street, driveway, or sidewalk. But guess what? That's gonna mar my concrete and make an incredibly loud metal scraping noise, which does not interest me. So today we're building a DIY wooden push-pull sled, which I can leave out all year round because it's going to be pressure-treated lumber. I don't have to worry about that metal scraping sound. And best of all, it's cheap. All right, step number one, we're going to cut 5 2-foot-long pieces of landscaping timber. Now, the reason I'm using this, once again, it's pressure-treated so I can leave this sled outside all year round. And also, it was free. Okay, my neighbor was throwing this away. They're moving. They were putting it out on the curb saying, free, take me, and I snagged it. Okay, so these landscaping timbers are 3.5 inches wide like this and about 5 inches wide like that. Okay, just for your reference, but you can use smaller, larger ones if you want. So, again, 5 pieces that are 2 foot long each. All right, step number 2. Now we're going to cut the skids, okay? Now these skids, we need a 45-degree angle cut on both sides of both skids. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 45-degree angle cut with the miter saw right here on the edge of this 8-foot-long piece. Then I'm going to measure 36.5 inches and make another 45-degree angle cut. And we'll need 2 of those pieces. Let's do it. All right, now with this piece, it's got a quite sharp edge, so I'm just going to make a 0-degree cut just right along that edge to dull that edge, okay? And then I'll repeat this same process to make a second one of these. All right, next step. Okay, so we got everything kind of laid out here, okay? Now, the next step we're going to do is we're going to add an eye bolt, which I've already done on this piece, to the front piece and the back piece. Okay, so this is an eye bolt. I got it run through, so I drilled through here, used a Forstner bit to recess this, and I got a washer and a lock nut right there. So we're going to do the same thing to this piece, and then we'll start screwing it together. All right, next step. Now we need to add holes, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Now this is what our poles are going to go into. So whatever poles you plan on using, make sure that the holes will accommodate your poles. So I'm going to be using 36-inch long, 3/4 inch plumbing nipples, which are just over 1 inch wide. So these 1 1/8 inch holes are perfect for me. So I'm going to be using a 1 1/8 inch spade bit to make my holes. Now, I've already done it to this end, as you can see, and these poles, and I got the fat grips on there to make it a little bit more comfortable, are just going to go in just like this, right? Now, if you want it even deeper, you can go deeper and just drill all the way through this piece and the bottom piece, but then you're probably going to want longer poles if you're a taller person, because the deeper the hole is, obviously the lower the pole is going to sink. Keep that in mind. All right, now let's make our holes. All right, now we're going to screw everything in place, and I have two pieces of 2x4, just some scrap I had laying around, that are 15 inches long each. I'm going to put those right in the center between these two skids so that I know it's square. Also, I'm going to be spacing out each one of these 5 boards using some 2x4, so 1.5 inch spacing between these boards, okay? And I'm going to be using 6-inch long lag screws, and make sure you use ones that are appropriate for pressure treated lumber if that's what you're using. Let's do it. All right, next step. Now we're going to add the loading pin to the center right here. Now, to do so, I'm going to be using a 3/4 inch floor flange, which will, of course, accommodate 3/4 inch plumbing nipples. And I'm going to attach this using lag bolts. So these are both galvanized, which is important because this is pressure treated wood, and I am going to be leaving it outside. So let's add this, and then we'll add our loading pin. And of course, I've already pre-drilled and measured everything. All right, last step. Now let's add our loading pin. So this is a 2-foot long, 3/4 inch galvanized plumbing nipple. And I'm going to add this to my floor flange. Okay, next step. Now we're going to add this guy. This is an Olympic plate adapter. To learn how to make this, watch that video right up there. So we'll add this right here. All right, and the cherry on top, we're going to add a 3/4 inch plumbing nipple cap. All right, quick update. So I've been using this for the past several days, and there's one thing I want to enhance, okay? So if you're pushing lots of weight, more than this, but pushing lots of weight with these bars, it's going to eventually pull the back screws out, and it's going to want to tilt forward. Same thing on that side. So we want to limit its ability to tilt forward. So a couple ways we can do that. We can just move this piece flush right against this piece. Same thing with this piece, flush against this piece, and then the skids don't have to be as long. However, I really like having this gap here because it provides a handle to pick this thing up easily when there's no plates on it and carry it where you want to go. There's other reasons too, such as I can hitch a band to this piece, hitch a band to this piece, and it's a band platform to stand on to do band exercises. All kinds of reasons to keep this gap. So instead, I just got some scrap pieces of 2x4, and what we're going to do is we're just going to use a mallet and put them in between these pieces, and this will limit the ability for this thing to tilt forward. Okay, and yeah, I wish that these were pressure treated. They're not. Maybe I'll swap them out with pressure treated eventually. So we're going to go ahead and add these right now. All right, all done. Now, to make it easier to add or remove plates, reduce the likelihood of you pinching your fingers, and limit the noise factor, I suggest using sled spacers. And you can buy them from AbMat via the links down below, or just make them. So, simple block made with a 2-inch hole saw. That's it. Just slide it right on, and there you go. Now, exercise. All right, now that we're ready to exercise, let me show you quickly how I set this up. So I put the plates on, obviously, and then I take a lashing strap and I connect it to both eye bolts. This way, if you want to use this as a pull sled, just take a big old carabiner, clip it on, and now when I pull this way, I'll be obviously pulling from this side, and when I go around the other way, I won't have to unclip to go the other direction. I just go the other way, right? So I'm going to attach to this carabiner a lashing strap, just clip right on, and then I'm going to connect it. Since I don't have a harness, I'll be using my Henny hip belt. Let's exercise. All right, the DIY push-pull sled, a great addition to any home gym. Now, for more details on this project, please visit designbuildlift.com. And to purchase any of the supplies needed for this project, please consider making those purchases via the links down in the video description below. Shopping via these links costs you nothing extra, and it helps support the channel. All right, that does it for this project, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next project. So, be sure to subscribe to the channel to be alerted the moment the next project drops.